Now, as we've explained here on the program before, there's an Australian science and manufacturing boom taking place right now on a scale not seen for decades. And some of the most exciting work is being done in an industry that's departed our shores. That is, vehicle manufacturing. This week, we explain the story behind an incredible technology company called Baraja, whose electronic eyes could be the secret for future self-drive cars. They may be the windows of our souls, but our eyes get tired. Our sight fades. We can't see 24 hours a day. But this might be the non-stop, all-seeing eyes of the very near future.
LiDAR is the laser eyes for self-driving cars. It is like a camera in that it is high resolution, but it has similarities to radar because it actually emits a laser pulse and it measures the distance to all the objects around it.
If self-driving or autonomous vehicles are to become the norm in the future, then it's important that your vehicle knows what's around it. Think traffic lights, trees, children, dogs, other vehicles. But just as important is to know how fast other vehicles are coming at your car. Now that is the secret of LiDAR, and it's science that Australia excels at. The story of Baraja starts with colour. The true breakthrough came when Fed and his partner, Kibi Pulikasaril, were working in telecommunications with lasers that could change colour and reconfigure the network.
The key innovation that we had at Baraja was we invented the way to get the laser to change color millions of times per second, accurately, repeatably, time and time again over vibration, shock, and temperature. And then we said, hey, what if we pair that laser that changes color with prism-like optics? Could we then use the prism to help us steer the laser beam, but without any moving parts, just by changing the color of the light, right?
In other words, shoot a laser through a prism. That very same technique that every science student knows creates a rainbow, and then measure the colours coming back. Things that are further or closer, or things moving faster or slower, will reflect different colours. It's the secret to seeing.
So brighter objects are shown here in the yellow side of the spectrum, and then darker objects like the asphalt on the road are shown in the blue. You can see the lane markings, etc., etc.
So we can see cars, for example. We can see, but it's not a car here.
Yeah.
Right, but this is not a camera.
This is not a camera because it's not a 2D. This is a 3D image. So let me show you, because we know exactly where in space, in 3D space, each one of these points is. You can actually be measuring the distance, and you can manipulate this in 3D.
In other words, spatial awareness.
So I can create a front view, or I can go bird's eye view.
Yes.
And then, as I was saying, you're actually measuring distance.
Baraja started, like so many other business ideas, with a round of capital raising from family and friends in 2015. But soon, others saw the light, or Baraja's version of it, and serious venture capital came on board. Sequoia Capital, one of the biggest VCs in the world, which backed maverick broker Robinhood, buy now, pay later business Klarna, and cryptocurrency exchange FTX. Then there's the local Blackbird Ventures, which among others backed Canva, and the CSIRO's venture capital arm also came on board.
I first met Baraja when Fed came up to me at a startup pitch competition. He came racing up to me and let me know he had this new idea for creating LiDAR, this new laser radar. And we'd invested in a company called Zoox, a driverless car team, and so we were really sort of attuned to this and realised it was a big challenge that needed to be solved. So, like, my ears instantly pricked up.
Baraja now has offices in Palo Alto, in the heart of America's Silicon Valley, in Sweden, Detroit, Germany and in China. But its key manufacturing and R&D site is in Australia, the old CSIRO laboratories in North Ryde, with high-tech clean rooms to make the lenses.
Car manufacturers and technology companies that are playing in the self-driving space are not literally outside this door, but they are very close to the other parts where we are.
Think Apple, Amazon, Hyundai, Tesla. They all have autonomous vehicle programs, along with all the major car companies. Apple's self-driving car is set to be released in 2024. The market is said to be worth $2 trillion by 2030. So that eye itself, compare it with our eyes.
All right, so just like our eyes, they are going to dictate how good a driving experience and how safe and comfortable that driving experience it can be. So,
is it picking up as much information as our eyes would?
So it picks up more. This product is able to measure directly distance to the object. Your eyes can't. You can only infer distance.
It's important to recognise that Baraja's electronic eyes are an ingredient for autonomous driving in the future. It may be incorporated into vehicles along with camera and radar. One object of the technology is to create a smooth driving experience, not to have a jerky experience if something jumps out from the shadows.
The key is it allows you to really understand deeply the environment around the vehicle, not only what is out there, but where in space it is, because you're measuring the distance to that object.
But it's one thing to create a product in a laboratory. It's something else altogether to start using Baraja's eyes in the real world. But this already has happened. Japanese giant Hitachi Construction Machinery, with annual sales around $10 billion a year, is incorporating Baraja's lidar into its new vehicles. In an enclosed environment, like a mine or a worksite, navigating autonomously is much easier. Getting the product onto the road, in the millions, that's the real quest.
The technology choices we made back in 2015 of solid state spectrum scan that allow us to miniaturize the technology means that now we can take it to something like this or smaller than this, and this is what's going to go now into on-road vehicles in the millions.
But that's tiny. I mean, that's in the scheme of a whole car, an automobile or whatever it might be, that's tiny, right?
So the idea is that this is so small that it can fit behind the windshield. And once you are behind the windshield, you can place it into many, many more makes and models of cars. The other key thing is it has to be very, very cheap, and it has to be of extremely high quality because automotive demands high volume, high quality, low price.
And the amazing thing about Baraja is it's one among a host of companies here in Australia seeking breakthroughs that will allow driverless cars in the future. And as inventors and technologists dream of those breakthroughs, people like Rick Baker will be watching and waiting for the opportunities.
The amazing thing about the Australian startup ecosystem is it has really gathered momentum over the last 10 years. It's been this snowball. We are seeing thousands of companies a year from our team here, and there's so many great things popping up. And it is literally everything from software and e-commerce and internet through to things coming out of universities, quantum science, all of this really amazing stuff. So hopefully we see them every day.